the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 27th day of February 2022. Before we delve into tonight's bulletin, let's first take a look at tonight's headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
And in our top stories tonight, Sasakawa president promises support to Ugandan farmers. Nature Uganda equips KIGEZI tour guides with tourism skills. Sound pollution regulations may not apply to places of worship. And government to work with corporates to grow sport.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Good evening once again and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. We start off with our first headlining story this evening. The Regional Coordinator Business Development at Sasakawa Africa Association, Ande Okiror, says there is increasing costs of farm inputs, a high cost of labor on top of threats from climate change, leaving the farmer with very little hope for prosperity. The visiting president of the Sasakawa Africa Association, Dr. Makoto Chitanaka from Japan, is in Uganda to evaluate strategic plans for the next 5 years.
A team of agriculture extension scientists led by the president of Sasakawa Africa Association, Dr. Makoto Chitanaka, have visited Mubende district to ascertain the progress of their interventions.
Last year we launched the new strategies covering regenerative agriculture, nutrition sensitive agriculture and market oriented agriculture. In this visit to this area, I understand the members of the communities we support the Sasakawa Africa Association. They promoted very much in the market oriented agriculture.
Sasakawa Africa Association Regional Coordinator Business Development Ande Okiror expressed concerns over the ever-increasing cost of production for many rural farmers.
The only thing is the cost of production for the farmers is very high. The farmers, as Ugandan farmers, need to reduce and cut their cost of production. For example, we have seen farmers in Busoga, when we did a calculation, they were producing at 550 shillings per kilo. But you can cut that cost of production to only 180. If you are producing at 180, that means if you are selling your maize at 350, at 400, you are making profits.
The Production and Marketing Officer, Mbende District Fred Kisache, says a lot has been achieved in setting up of infrastructure for collective marketing in the district.
Now, if our farmers can be able to work on those two, and indeed they are, because they have storage space, they have agro-processing, some agro-processing infrastructure, and soon they are going to actually get value addition equipment. When there is an off-taker, it is a direct drive to actually pull the markets upwards.
The team visited Madudu Sub-County Cooperative Association and the women groups in the district who are adding value onto their produce. They were impressed by the adoption of latest agricultural technologies by the extension staff.
Actually, we received the Sasakawa African Association as a blessing. At first, we were moving, but we are not moving steadily.
There is a lot going on as far as counterfeits are concerned, but you chose to come here, guide us in each and everything in a technical way. Really, that is very, very, very great.
To me, I always say it's better you do something small and not so big, and then you do to use the right inputs. You can have the 5 acres, but what is your output? And yet you can have 1 or 2 acres, take care of that, use the right inputs.
Report compiled by Douglas Setumba for UBC News.
The Ministry of Education is committed to continue to implement the teaching of science subjects and innovations in rural schools. Now, this to achieve the goals of the government program of emphasizing science subjects. It's noted that the Ministry of Education embarked on the policy which took effect in 2006, making the study of science subjects, namely chemistry, physics, biology and mathematics, compulsory for the ordinary level by then.
The Ministry of Education and Sports made the study of science subjects that include physics, chemistry, biology and mathematics compulsory at the ordinary level. According to available information, over 4.7 million students have been trained in science subjects, both at O and A levels.
Sciences now, they have uplifted from the region of low to the region of high, whereby we have got teachers from different corners. The government has tried to give us those teachers.
Muyingo, who is behind this program of a multi-purpose lab with 3 latrines, with the aim of bringing the science.
The Minister of State for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, says the ministry is committed to supporting schools in rural areas access modern necessary requirements. This was contained in the message delivered by the minister's personal assistant, Abdul Karim Waswa, while on a familiarization tour of Wakatai Secondary School Laboratory under construction and St. Stephen Chetume Primary School in Zirobwe.
Yaweebwa ekizimbe kino si kimu, yaweebwa toilets 3 era nazo nga bazitandise n'ekizimbe kino abaana bafu okubanga badde batawaana aba sciences nga wakati ayinza okuba kigimu ku bitawanya mu kukola sciences.
Meanwhile, the Luwero District LC5 chairperson Erostas Chibirango encourages farmers in the area to utilize the rainy season by engaging in commercial farming, especially fruit growing. This was in Chichusa Town Council at a function held at Haji Umar Malo residence. Ivan Juko, Salon Kaswante for UBC News.
Now, efforts are in high gear to empower the local population in KIGEZI sub-region with tourism business skills. Nature Uganda Chief Executive Achilles Byaruhanga is leading the team that is providing youths in KIGEZI with the skills in tourism so that the area taps from the abundant resources in the area. The training took place at the shores of Lake Bunyonyi, Kabale district.
KIGEZI residents are being imparted with skills to tap into the abundant, beautiful scenery in the area to make money. The Executive Director, Nature Uganda, Achilles Byaruhanga, says KIGEZI has all it takes to become the most visited area in the country, but only after residents are adequately sensitized.
But the tourism industry has not taken off, despite that actually in terms of tourism revenue, KIGEZI area probably raises over 50% of the amount of money that you bring in as a tourism revenue. But at the local level, you don't see it. But now we want these young people to participate in this industry.
Biaruhanga was presiding over training of Lake Bunyonyi local tour guides on the shores of this Africa's second deepest lake. He also donated books, tools of trade, including a motorboat, to the guides to assist them carry out tourism activities in the region more competently.
You need to have a very good boat. If you're a bad guide, you need to have binoculars. You need to have telescopes. Maybe you need to have a camera. If you're a bad guide, you need to have a book. You need to have what they call bad guides, so that when you are talking to a tourist, you know what you're talking about and you can clearly check it, you can confirm what you're talking about.
Some of the local tour guides said despite their passion for the industry, their exposure to relevant skills has been lacking.
What I have learned from Nature Uganda today is from how to guide clients to the islands, to the national parks, and how to guide them in a proper way that they should understand each and everything, like when touring gorillas, like when enjoying the islands, when visiting the pygmies.
As part of the event, guides performed some acrobatics across a Lake Bunyonyi Peninsula, tree climbing and boat rowing, among others.
Now, residents in Buali East Village in BUDUDA district are to benefit from a poultry project for income generation. This was disclosed by John Magezi Damira, the district governor, District 9213, during the commissioning of Rotary Opportunity Bank Microfinance Linkage Fund and Hatchery Project in Buali East Village, BUDUDA district.
Natural calamities that often occur in BUDUDA district have negatively impacted the district in areas of wealth creation, quality education, safe water and harmony. Under Rotary Club of Kampala North BUDUDA Adopt project, residents will now be able to recover from some economic hardships courtesy of Budei Education Center. Rotarians have introduced various projects in the district to boost health services, basic education and economic empowerment for the community in BUDUDA district, as John Magezi Damira, the district governor of District 9213, explains.
Because as we launch this, we know that women are very good business people.
The whole aim of the linkage between us and the Rotary Club is to bring up, to bring life to these people, to give them small monies that can help with them put in their business, come up, begin a new life. To help them, we shall be giving them school fees, agric loans, and also business loans.
And I'm happy that there are many women here.
The project started in March 2019 and is expected to cost about 780 million shillings. As part of income-generating activities in the community, a hatchery has been commissioned for the community's economic empowerment. The hatchery will be ensuring 2,500 chicks are generated weekly as part of a wider project that Rotary Club of Kampala North is implementing.
Today basis, they have to take care of the basic maintenance. So they have a committee in place which makes sure that the basic requirements are taken care of in terms of maintaining the water system. Then anything that is beyond them, that is when they reach out to the district water office. Equally with the other components, say on education, should they...
The chairperson, Buali East Village, BUDUDA district, Richard Wawuyo, says the chicken hatchery component will improve the well-being of the community members.
If services have come nearer, we shall be able to get rich.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Kampala Capital City Authority has expressed readiness to reinforce regulations to manage noise pollution. This includes enforcing regulations to manage noise playing above 5 decibels. Take a look.
The move by KCCA to have a safe and smart city is likely to face a setback due to enforcement of regulations on sound pollution. Churches, bars and nightclubs are known contributors of noise pollution. Imam Ali of Gaddafi Mosque, Old Kampala, says some of the regulations may not be applicable because calling Muslims for prayers is one of the characteristics of Muslim faith.
We shall continue telling out why do we make adhan. In our tradition as Muslims, the more adhan is being made, again the more Satan runs away from that place.
Pastor Martin Sempa says the concept of smart city is good, but they need education on how to stop sound pollution.
Freedom of religion and worship. So if you may not like, I sometimes find it annoying when I hear the muazzin in the morning, if the speakers are very loud, okay? Sometimes it's too loud. But there is also what's called tolerance. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not too much. If it's a muazzini, if you have a pastor, if you have a priest who is praying, yeah, we can receive it. Even this complaint against street preachers, I think it's totally misplaced. So, but we need to have participatory, united approach of bringing stakeholders together. We will be able, I want to work with pastors so that we can, other religious leaders, so we can be able to get together and can be able.
Talking to persons neighboring places of worship, the regulations were long overdue.
Ninanyiddewo ddala abapangisa bagenze olw'embeera ey'amaloboozi okusaba tekwali badde kubi naye engeri gye bakikwatamu kuba night players ziyitirira ekiro n'obulwako emirembe n'egyebaka ekiro.
The 1995 Ugandan Constitution, as amended, ensures freedom of worship and expression without putting a limit on how far someone must go when worshipping. However, a big contribution of noise pollution in Kampala comes from drivers, riders and business operators whose fate on enforcement is yet to be detailed. David Asimwe, UBC TV.
Thank you, David Asimi, for that report. Now moving on, young people have been challenged to continue seeking for more knowledge by pursuing different educational careers. This advice was given by Dr. Martin Cheyune during the inaugural edition of Uganda Matters University Outstanding Alumni Awards.
Uganda Matters University has recognized its alumni who have excelled in different fields and contributing to national development. Notable among the awardees is the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, who was recognized in absentia for having obtained her bachelor's and master's degrees from Uganda Matters University.
But also having kept in touch with the university. She's visited the university several times, and I'm sure this is going to give even the other alumni that impetus to keep visiting the university, but also to know that we pursue and follow up how they perform in society.
Another outstanding awardee is Dr. Martin Cheyune, who advised young people to consider growing their career through educational trainings.
That once you get one achievement, don't consider it as the final goal that you have reached, but rather consider it as a commencement. And then that motivates you to add on and add on and add on. Remember, in this life of ours, there is a lot of competition for jobs, for everything. The lower you go, the higher you go, the competition lessens. So it's quite important that you add to your values and you add to your qualifications and expertise as well as skills.
Uganda Matters University Management explains the importance of keeping together with the alumni.
In terms of education and training, the Alumni Association offers mentorship to those still pursuing their courses at the university. It also offers an easy outlet for the university should we be looking for internships, mentorships for our students.
Founded in 1993, Uganda Matters University now has over 5,000 students in 12 faculties and over 30,000 alumni.
Now, school administrators have urged to instill values in learners in order to make them responsible and productive citizens. This was echoed by the old girls of KIGEZI High School, class of 1971, as they celebrated 50 years.
Established in 1905, KIGEZI High School is one of the oldest traditional schools that has nurtured a number of high-profile women in the country. KIGEZI High School class of 1971 celebrated 50 years by holding a Thanksgiving Mass at the school campus.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus.
The old girls of the school gave different testimonies geared at inspiring learners, but also the current administrators to keep the flag high.
Are you living a lifestyle that is satisfying your expectations? Are you?
Integrity, dignity, caring for humanity, having the Christ-like love, respect for the others, contributing, taking it as your responsibility to contribute, have an impact where you are, even in your small space of the home or of the working place or of the clinic where you're working as a private doctor, have an impact.
They also remind us of the values of the school, what the school did for them. They also encourage us to love our humble beginnings, where we started from. We shouldn't forget where we came from.
Students say that the old girls of the school have inspired them, especially with the spirit of togetherness and the value of reaching out to others.
I am very inspired by the spirit of unity that the old KIGEZI girls have, and their passion for the school, their passion to grow the school and to encourage the girls to grow within the school.
Values like godliness, time management, respect, I have picked it a lot from the school, to respect those above me, those who are my age, even those who are younger. So when I go out there, when I leave at the end of this year, I hope to impact people's lives like that, to show them that we respect people, that time management is important, that integrity is a value that we have to hold on to as humans, and that women too can be in positions of power.
The old girls of KIGEZI High School are now fundraising for the completion of the administration block, whose construction is underway. Diana Kuti, UBC.
The Commissioner General, Uganda Revenue Authority, John R. Musinguzi, urged Ugandans to be patriotic, as this is the only way the country can achieve development. Now, this was during a pastors and leaders conference on taxation held at Miracle Center Cathedral in Rubaga.
Taxation is an initiative aimed at transforming nations to greater economic heights and fostering development. However, citizens of developing nations have a tendency of dodging and exempting themselves from paying taxes. It is for this reason that Uganda Revenue Authority is spreading the gospel of the relevancy for Ugandans to pay taxes. This was at Miracle Center Cathedral Church Rubaga in a Pastors and Leaders Conference on Taxation. Uganda Revenue Authority's Commissioner General John Musinguzi urged Ugandans to embrace taxation as a patriotic attribute for the economic transformation of the country.
As children of God, we are called to live by example. Let's be exemplary by paying the right tax, because then God will truly bless our efforts, because we are aligned with His principles. But then number two, as the church, we are leaders of the rest of the society. So let's influence them by teaching them biblical principles and by leading the way. So let the pastors join us in educating the people in the church what it means to pay tax.
The of Miracle Center Cathedral Pastor Robert Kayanja asked fellow pastors to help government preach the idea of taxation, urging Ugandans to support hard work for development.
Uganda is growing very fast. We need our own revenue. So we want to mobilize the church, as he has stated, and the church has numbers. We have people. As we pray that God to bless this country, definitely those who are blessed should start paying taxes fairly.
Ivan Juko, Flower Semper.
UBC News Tonight. Now, Mubende Barracks has received an orthopedic facility to treat war casualties for all the East African regions. The State Minister for Veteran Affairs, Olelu Huda, commissioned the facility at Mubende Barracks, where she advocated for the increased funding for veteran affairs. Take a look.
The State Minister for Veterans Affairs, Olelu Huda, has paid a working visit to Mubende Rehabilitation Center to check on different projects, including tailoring. The minister opened a new tailoring hall to be used for skilling casualty victims and the community.
I'm very happy with this Nippon project of tailoring. It is good that when you are preparing yourself to retire and you get these skills. These are skills when you are out of the uniform, they will still make you to earn income. So I'm very happy for this project and the only challenge we saw that we have few trainers. So what we are going to do is to see that how we can train more of trainers to come and train our people here so that when they are going home, they go with that skills.
She also commissioned an orthopedic workshop where items such as artificial limbs and arms are made.
UPDF bill must be passed into a law. When that bill comes into a law, or it is passed to be a law, it will solve so many challenges why these people are here. Because here, when I'm here, they are talking about issues of compensation. There are some people here, they have been assessed. The medical board has assessed them, but before somebody is paid, he died, and now they are saying in that their beneficiaries cannot benefit. So I have realized it is an issue that I must include in that bill.
However, the facility leadership decried limited funding that hinders the provision of orthopedic services to those in need. Mubende Rehabilitation Center Barracks has also ventured into income-generating projects like fish farming, where community members are also participating for purposes of acquiring vocational skills. Sodat Kaye, UBC News.
Caring Hearts Ministries, Breakthrough Ministries, has organized a medical camp to heal its members from various ailments. The well-attended camp was facilitated by Dr. Kalibala at the ministry's headquarters in Kagula Hill, Kachiri in Wakiso district.
Caring Hearts Breakthrough Ministries has proved it's not only about evangelization, but also other social corporate responsibility initiatives. In the past, the leadership at Caring Hearts Breakthrough Ministries has ventured in provision of education and shelter to its faithful that have now benefited from free medical checkup.
Tukiriza mu Katonda awonya akola ebyamagero era wano waliwo abafudde bituzuukizizza nange bambika ennaku 7 nanfunya accident nenkomawo eri Katonda Mukama nankomyawo nalaba Yesu nangamba ddayo. Everybody buli muntu yatya naye ate Caring Heart yayamba community mu community mulimu abantu abatasobola kuba na busobozi bwekebeza fenge kanisa tukikoze.
The medical camp offered advice on avoidable ailments, while recipients benefited from HIV/AIDS, diabetes, and blood pressure checks.
Very important to do what you call yearly medical checks. Yearly medical checks are so important that they help you to know where your body stands in terms of health. Because some diseases, they start slowly without serious symptoms, which people ignore and the disease grow and they become worse.
For as long as Caring Hearts Breakthrough Ministries has been in existence, the locals have benefited, and promise is that this is just the tip of the iceberg. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Now, most times in life, the birth of a child brings joy to parents, but for Sam Nyanzi and Harriet Naiga, no sooner had they than gloom set in because their now 8-month-old Eliana Nanyanzi is ailing and in dire need of good Samaritans. Take a look at the story.
For any parent in the world, being told that your child is ailing, and especially to a complicated disease, can cause so much distress. This is exactly what's happening to Sam Nyanzi and his wife Harriet Naiga of Zanta in Indeje. Their 8-month-old child, Elina Nanyanzi, was diagnosed with complete AV canal defects with balanced ventricles, mild regurgitation of the right component of the AV valve, small PDA, small PFO, and severely elevated RV pressures.
You know, with the heart, there is one side which is which transfers the oxygenated blood, and the other one the oxygenated blood. So the blood is supposed to move this way. The blood with oxygen, that's where it passes. Then the other side, the blood with no oxygen, that's where it passes. But with the Nanyans, that blood just mixes. It mixes in the lower chambers. That is the problem. So that's why she cannot grow well.
This family now has a humble plea to secure close to 60 million shillings for treatment, only able in either Egypt, but preferably India.
Nebatugamba tulina okikolanga bukyali ddala. Emyaka teginneyongera kandi aweza kati alina emyezi 8. Kati awo tusabire obuyambi bannange abantu ba Katonda bayambe Nanyanzi agende mu India alongosewe.
For any help, please reach out to the parents on the numbers on your screen, and may God reward you abundantly. For in Matthew 25:31-46, he said, "Whatsoever you do to the least of my brother, that you do unto me." John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Well, we're calling all good Samaritans out there to help little Nanyanzi have a full-fledged life. Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
In all its operations worldwide, Total Energies considers national content as a key component for the success of its operations. Total Energies EP Uganda, therefore, developed.
Start the year off with My Airtel 4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Baganda call it munene munene. The Banyankole muhango. The Acholi date don't date. The Bagishu humubafubafu. It means king size freshness for all. Movit Family Soap is giving you a fresh start for your family. This soap is indeed so big. Tagwerera muwangazi ate it has a great kawowo. Unaba, no naba, kare no naba dala. Available in coconut, aloe vera, lemon, and rose. Find the king-size Movit family soap in all Dukas, next supermarkets close to you. Movit, all-day confidence.
National Medical Stores is a government agency mandated to buy, store and distribute medicines and medical supplies to government health facilities in Uganda. For Ugandans that we serve, help us serve you better by taking your individual responsibilities seriously. Report theft of government medicines and medical supplies to the nearest police station or to the State House Health Monitoring Unit. Do not pay for any medicines or medical supplies labeled Government of Uganda, not for sale. Do all that is within your means to stop all preventable diseases, including COVID-19. Continue observing the Ministry of Health Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, including wearing a face mask whenever you are in public spaces. Visit a designated health facility to receive your COVID-19 vaccination and a booster dose for those that are eligible. Prevention is better than cure. National Medical Stores, passionate about your life.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugulu on sign language interpretation. Now we delve into the world of business. The project for skilling youth in Kamwenge district to ensure equitable development is implemented by Youth Development Organization at Ave Maria Technical Institute in Kamwenge district. Now the program focuses on supporting national skilling reforms that aim at making skills development in Kamwenge more demanding.
Ave Maria Technical Institute based in Kamwenge district is to offer learners an opportunity to acquire vocational training skills. The courses include carpentry and joinery, vehicle mechanics, hairdressing, tailoring and garment cutting, among others.
On behalf of government, okutongoza ishomereri kandi n'abana biza kushoma tanise sterere mahanga omungaro.
Nyamuna nkidisaka buzoga njita enyuma neyo misho kandi engine tine chintu chinta kumanya.
Other courses, among all I chose to take Gundi building and construction. Yes, because in future I want to be someone like an engineer in terms of building.
Thank you very much for looking on us, knowing that we are also supposed to be brought up. Do something, at least we become self-reliant. We shouldn't depend on men. We should make our own businesses.
The training program is designed to take a period of 6 months. Will be implemented by the Youth Integrated Development Organization and Enabel, a Belgian development agency.
Interest is making sure we are able to earn from practical work, we are able to earn a living and support ourselves even when we have not got degrees or diplomas in higher institutions of learning. We have come to discover that these skills are a source of good livelihood and actually a source of income, I may say.
Technical education was much limited to males, but now we are encouraging parents to also bring their daughters for technical courses, because as per now we have girls in doing bricklaying and concreting practice, and we have girls also doing motor vehicle mechanics.
UDO is targeting market-relevant vocation and technical skills to youth out of school in Kamwenge district.
This UDO program funded by INABED enables them to get alternative skills development, which we have an opportunity to provide by paying their fees and also accommodation to enable them go through this training.
Kamwenge district officials thanked UDO for its effort of promoting value chain livelihood development enterprises to over 200 youth.
Helping these boys who dropped from school to go back and get skills. So here is an opportunity for them to get that skill so that they really serve this country so that development can prosper in Uganda.
With 5% school dropout rate in the Kamwenge district, UDO's initiatives complement government efforts to help youth attain necessary skills and find meaningful employment. Haruna Mutesasira, reporting for UBC News in Kamwenge district.
National Water and Sewage Corporation Managing Director Dr. Silva Mugisha has advised savings and credit cooperatives to go digital. Now, Mugisha believes this will help reduce on costs like renting, especially now as businesses struggle to survive post-COVID-19.
Contrary to what many think, National Water and Sewerage Corporation Managing Director Dr. Silva Mugisha believes that COVID-19, like every dark cloud, has a silver lining and must teach people adaptness to enable businesses thrive.
We are locked down due to the COVID effects, and they have not been transacting. That also affected us. We would have schools which would borrow from us with a loan of about 500 million, 700 million. So it means for the last 2 years, we are not able to disburse such loans to people.
Dr. Mugisha was at the annual general meeting of Chamuhanga People's Circle, where he advised that digitalization to reduce costs.
It is extremely very important to see the people you serve. Sometimes people are not comfortable with digitalization. Now, so which means when you are opening circles, because every time you open branches, it increases the cost of running business. You have to pay more staff, you have to pay rent, you have to pay transport, you need vehicles to do that. So it is very, very important to find a delicate balance of how many branches can you open so that you make services easier for the people, but also you don't increase cost excessively to affect the value that members would be expecting at the end of the day.
During the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, several savings and credit cooperatives like Chavandara that had lasted 14 years collapsed due to loan default that caused operational challenges.
Some members were affected, and basing on their evidence they bring to us, and basing on our assessment, how have they been affected, we have rescheduled some of them.
Buturo Savings and Credit Cooperative Society was also adversely affected during lockdown, but is now on the journey to resuscitation.
And the beauty is that out of those loans that we are scheduled, we have been monitoring to ensure that these loans that we are scheduled, are they performing, and from record.
Have one of our aggregator.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN. MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Welcome back. And now into the international scene. Ukrainian forces are battling Russian troops on the streets of Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv, according to local officials. Now, Regional Governor Ole said light vehicles had entered the city as he urged its 1.4 million residents to stay indoors. The advance came after missiles rained down overnight. A 9-story residential tower was hit and the building was severely damaged and an elderly woman was killed. But rescuers said about 60 people were spared injury as they had taken refuge in the basement. Russian troops also blew up a national gas pipeline nearby, according to the Ukrainian state communications agency. It comes after an oil terminal outside the capital, Kyiv, was attacked by missiles, prompting toxic air warnings. The massive explosion hit 18 miles south of Kyiv as saw flames light up in the night sky. Those nearby were warned to close their windows, though many in Kyiv are already sheltering underground. Tens of thousands of Ukrainians have been pouring towards neighboring countries to escape the war. More than 115,000 have crossed into Poland alone, some traveling for more than 2 days and others joining queues 15 kilometers at border points. Now, the EU, the US and their allies have agreed to cut off a number of Russian banks from the main international payment system, SWIFT. The assets of Russia's central bank will also be frozen, limiting Russia's ability to access its overseas reserves. The intention is to further isolate Russia from the international financial system. Russia is heavily reliant on the SWIFT system for its key oil and gas exports. The joint sanctions are the hardship measures imposed to date on Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. SWIFT, or the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, is a secure messaging system that makes fast cross-border payments possible, enabling international trade. Based in Belgium, it facilitates transactions between more than 11,000 banks and financial institutions across the globe.
Isolate Russia from the international financial system and our economies. In coordination with President Biden, President Macron, Bundeskanzler Scholz and Prime Minister Draghi, as well as Prime Minister Trudeau and Prime Minister Johnson, we considered a significant tightening of our international response. The European Union and its partners are working to cripple Putin's ability to finance his war machine. I will now propose to EU leaders the following measures. First, we commit to ensuring that a certain number of Russian banks are removed from SWIFT. This will ensure that these banks are disconnected from the international financial system and harm their ability to operate globally. We will paralyze the assets of Russia's central bank. This will freeze its transactions, and it made it impossible for the central bank to liquidate assets. We will work to prohibit Russian oligarchs from using their financial assets on our markets. All of these measures will significantly harm Putin's ability to finance his war. Putin embarked on a path aiming to destroy Ukraine. But what he is also doing, in fact, is destroying the future of his own country.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy a 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175 hash and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now into sports. For the second successive Uganda Athletics Federation calendar event, Uganda Wildlife Authority's Ali Cheburez and police clubs Marcelin Chelangat have yet again triumphed. These two were top podium finishers at the National Cross Country Championship in Tororo a few weeks ago and have now added the prestigious gold medal at the National Source of the Nile Half Marathon in Jinja. Cheburez was 2 seconds faster than police club's Abel Chebet, while his teammate Godfrey Kusuro was 6 seconds off the top spot, having crossed in 1 hour, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. In the latest category, police club's Marcelin Chelangat crossed the line in 1 hour, 11 minutes and 52 seconds to take the gold medal, while Uganda Wildlife Authority runners Sarah Chelangat and Lauryn Kazimoto were second and third, respectively. This championship attracted the country's top runners, whom the federation wants to graduate to the marathon, where Uganda is planning to surge on world titles. What now follows for runners is the first national trial due next month at Mandela National Stadium, Nambole. And the Ministry of Education and Sports has committed to work with Corporate League to enable sports growth in Uganda. The Corporate League is a non-governmental organization that oversees sports competition in Uganda and has officially started its 2022 season.
Newly appointed National Council of Sports Board Chairperson Ambrose Tashobya has represented the State Minister for Sports Samson Obua at the opening of the 2022 Corporate League season at Chambogo University ground.
You know, to look ahead to a time when, an opportune time, when the Honorable Minister and the Principal can have a breakfast with them, with their MDs and company secretaries, to have a closer interaction, to understand sports in a deeper way, and also for us to understand the corporate organizations in a deeper way, to see how they can add more value to the sports subsector, but also to see how we can help them using sport to grow their brands.
Tashobya was flanked by National Council of Sports General Secretary Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwela, who reiterated government commitment towards organized sports bodies.
The corporate, today we are celebrating, has made a huge contribution in supporting and supplementing government efforts in overall sports development of the country. That we need to show solidarity and work with. The future of sports can only be bright and better when we are working closely with the corporate world.
The Corporate League is now in its 20th year and has over time organized a sports competition amongst various bodies with the theme of bringing communities together.
We have to make it mightier than before. What I really expect is for them to act corporate. We expect them to stick to safety. Safety is 1. 2, let us really build the community. We are brought together as a community. Let's stick to that. CSR is coming. Let's help many others out there when it comes to COVID and vaccination.
This year's edition, which comes after a 2-year absence due to COVID-19, has 51 teams, including MTN, Parliament, Roofings, and Movit. Competition is in various disciplines highlighted by football, volleyball, basketball, athletics, and swimming. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Now, the past week for Uganda's basketball family has been one to talk about for many years, as local coaches and players benefited from tutorship by some of the sport's best. This was during a Federation of International Basketball Association youth camp hosted at Africa Bible University in Lubowa that has been appreciated by all. Take a look.
The most important things they have shared with us are the tiniest details, the most technical bits with regards to working with the youth, with the young kids, paying attention to the tiniest details, because they make a big difference when these kids are actually learning how to play the game. And working with the kids, we're trying to get them better technically.
This program, this camp that we are doing here in Uganda is one of the 8 camps that we are having across the continent, looking at creating a good base for talent identification and development in those different countries. It's meant to achieve 2 key things. Number one, to equip coaches in areas of talent identification and development, but also after 3 days, we have a 3 days camp for players who are under the age of 18 to prepare them, in the fundamentals, work with them in an intense camp so that they are able to get to the next level of our regional camps.
We'd like to thank you so much for your company this wonderful evening. But before we step out, let's first take another look at tonight's headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Sasakawa president promises support to Ugandan farmers. Nature Uganda equips KIGEZI tour guides with tourism skills. Sound pollution regulations may not apply to places of worship. And government to work with corporates to grow sport.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Well, thank you once again for your company this evening. Now, on behalf of myself, Muhammad Mugalu, and newsroom committee, and of course the control room who made this wonderful setup, we wish you a lovely week ahead of you. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto Masika and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language. Good night.